What it do, E-World, crisscrossing wires, back again with another video. And to be honest, fellas, I'm getting tired of making certain videos because I seem to go over a lot of the same stuff over and over again. You know, every now and then, lately what I've been doing is whenever I take a real world question, you know, or a topic I see in a forum or a group chat or something that's on a good issue, I might go and make a video about it, you know, especially if it's something something significant. All right, but today's video is going to be about something I've said, I know, at least 100 times or more on this channel. Trust and believe me, this is the last time I'm gonna say it. If you motherfuckers don't listen, oh well, I ain't gonna tell you no more. And if I thought people was listening, you know, really listening, I wouldn't even be saying it now. But people don't listen, okay? And let me make this other disclaimer as well, because I got a lot of E-World friends, my E-bros out there, and you know, obviously you guys are just friends from E-World. You know, I don't know most of you guys in real life. You know, we've became acquaintances, you know, with this e-bike stuff. But you know, some of you guys are all right. Nah, I tend to talk to some of you guys regularly. But I guarantee you, someone is going to think that I'm talking about them when I'm not. The reason why they're going to think I'm talking about them is because the shit I'm getting ready to say is shit that I tell 99.9% of you guys I talk to. And maybe only that 0.1% actually listen. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, a lot of y'all gonna think I'm talking about you because I tell y'all the same shit time after time, over and over again. Not only you guys, but even new guys that I come in contact with, that I get messages, you know, Facebook messages. And let me say this too, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people think, you know, that have sent me Facebook messages that I'm being an asshole, I'm ignoring you guys. But I told you before, if you send messages to my personal page on Facebook and I don't respond, it's because I didn't get it. I didn't get it because I don't accept messages from non-friends. All right? If I did, they would be driving me crazy on my Facebook page. All right? Now, I may not be the most popular YouTuber, far from that, as far as e-bikes. I may not, you know, be the most favorite YouTuber as far as e-bikes. But it seems, you know, regardless of that, it seems I get most of the how-to DIY questions, a whole lot more questions than I get views, subs, or likes. That's for sure. Because I actually was checking my personal page, and I went and turned on the, you know, where I could get comments from anyone. And when I did that, it was like it was a ton of comments in there, or questions in there. So I turned that shit right back off, because I can't answer all them damn questions. But anyway, back to like I was saying, no, this ain't about you. This is about 90% of y'all that's doing the same shit. Now, I say all the time, the most important part to these e-bikes should be obvious. They're e-bikes, electric bikes. the fucking battery. I say it all the time. The battery is the most important thing on your PEV. I mean, I don't get what you guys don't understand about that. There's no way around the battery. All right, people, I get a million questions on what controller should I get, what motor should I get, and I tell them, man, what kind of battery do you have? And you know, first thing they tell me is they got some cheap ass battery. Man, I don't give a damn what kind of controller you get, what kind of motor you get, what kind of domino throttle, all that shit. That shit means nothing if your battery is sub fucking par. You know what I'm saying? That should be the main thing you focus on before anything, is your battery. Before you buy any components, get a decent battery. Also get a battery that you know, has longevity and is future proof. You know, don't get a battery that just can handle your power needs for right now. Get a battery that can handle your power needs if you decide to grow, if you decide you want more power. And that seems to be about 90% of everybody. Now, there's a good percentage of people that have e-bikes or PEVs that all start off, I just want to have a nice bike or something to get me from point A to B, or something to get me to school, or something to go to work. Yeah, that's what their mouths say, and then it ends up being something else. Now, for a commuter, for something to get you to point A and point B, yes, you can go with inexpensive this and inexpensive that. You don't have to buy the best if you just need transportation. But a lot of them people that said all they need is transportation, all of a sudden they want to go fast. And let me tell you, you are not going to go fast with the same shit. Don't work like that. It just don't. When it comes to performance, quality matters. It matters a whole lot. I just did a video, a little short, about, you know, I cannot compete with the Chinese battery manufacturers. There's no way I can compete with them. They make batteries and get the cheapest cells on the planet, you know, and build packs in the most inexpensive means possible for mass production. Okay, I can't compete with that making batteries by hand. However, they can't compete with the performance that my packs give. All right, because like I said, they're making batteries for mass production. They making hundreds of batteries a day. They don't really care about how well these packs perform. All they care about is that they work and how many they can make. All right, now I used to have a debate all the time when I first started this game, and that was because I had electronics background and came from other hobbies where, you know, that required power as well. So concepts for power when it comes to electronics are all the same all around the board, you know. So I already knew a lot of things as far as when it came to power, you know. So that's why when I build my packs, I build them in a certain way to handle high amounts of current. All right, now the argument used to be, what's better, welding or soldering? All right, now I'm gonna tell you guys straight out, even today, there's gonna be a million people that disagree with me, a whole bunch of wannabe technicians and recognitions. All right, but soldering makes the best connection of them all. All right, only, and that's only if you can solder, you know, really well. All right, soldering ain't for everybody. Everybody can't solder, but a lot of people can weld. People think because battery manufacturers weld that that's the best. No, it's not the best in terms of performance. It's the best in terms of productivity. All the fuck they care about is how many batteries they can make. So if they can have robots over there welding packs that come down the assembly line, that's what they're going to do. But is welding the best? Hell fucking no. All welding does is put little tack welds, little pinpoint precision welds. That's the only physical connection on those metal components that adheres them together. All right, so basically you have copper and nickel that just the surface areas alone, because they conduct electricity, all they need to do basically is touch each other. All right, so then they put those little tack welds to hold them in place, and as long as they're touching each other, they're conducting electricity. Okay, but what happens is over time copper starts to oxidize. I know you've seen pennies turn green and all that kind of shit. Well, same thing. The copper in these batteries or the nickel will start oxidizing, or moisture gets in the packs, corrosion starts happening, just like on your batteries in your automobile. You've seen the terminals corrosion affects anything that conducts electricity. You know, if there's electricity going through it and it's a metal, it's going to oxidize and corrode. All right, so those batteries that are welded after time, they will start corroding, and you know, from vibration, from all that sort of stuff, like I said, water ingress, eventually those connections that were solid initially will no longer be solid. Now, the difference in soldering, when you solder a battery to you know, you solder copper to batteries, that solder creates a layer of metal, you know, metal adhesion, okay, that nothing can penetrate through that layer of solder. All right, if you put a layer of solder over that connection, it's not going to corrode inside of that connection. All right, soldering is the best connection there is in electronics. That's why when it comes to all electronic devices, how they adhere components, transistors, resistors, capacitors, everything to circuit boards, they solder them in there. You know, that lead and tin mixture conducts electricity really well. You know, you heat it up, then it liquefies, and then when it cools off into a solid, you have a nice mechanical connection that, you know, allows current to flow and is protected. Now, I used to say everybody shouldn't be soldering batteries, because the first thing they used to come with that bullshit is, oh, the heat is going to damage the cell. No, the heat is not going to damage the cell if you know how to solder, and it doesn't take you 10 years to do that soldering connection. All right, obviously if you leave that soldering iron on that cell, it's going to heat it up over time. But just to you know, if you know how to solder, man, I can make that connection in about 2-3 seconds, and bit bop bam, on to the next one. That battery has no time to heat up, definitely not internally where it goes to the inner core of the battery. You know, batteries get hotter just from conducting electricity than they do from soldering. Man, if you were able to check your cells out after you've done a long high-speed ride, those cells will be hot as fire, very extremely hot, you know. So yeah, that extreme heat damages those cells. Abusing them like that, drawing too much current through them, damages. But you know, the heat from soldering does not damage them. Okay, so bam, like I said, those welded connections over time will start to wear down and break and corrode and all that. So that will cause any of those batteries being welded to not have any longevity. All right, now the next thing is those little nickel strips that they use in there can conduct a lot of electricity, not a high amount of current flow. That's why us DIY battery makers, we use copper, thick wide pieces of copper that conduct a lot of current. All right, so a pack that's made that way is going to be able to allow a whole lot more current flow than a battery that was mass produced on assembly line with some nickel strips that were tack welded. All right, so not only is it how the battery is made going to allow a premium good battery and a cheap battery to perform differently, then obviously it's the cells they use. All right, so they're making batteries in the cheapest fashion possible, and they're using the cheapest cells possible. So you think that that pack is going to perform the same as a pack that somebody made with premium cells using all the best techniques to build these packs? Hell no. All right, so the first thing you're gonna get is when people buying them cheap ass packs are gonna wonder why they're not getting the same speeds as the guys who invested in a good quality pack. Now, yes, a quality pack is going to cost you. You know, even if you buy a pack from Powerful Lithium, Chai Battery, any of those guys, they make great batteries, by the way. Not saying anything about those guys, but those cheap Chinese packs that's manufactured in factories, there's some bullshit. But those Powerful Lithium guys, at least they hand making packs. They're using decent bus bars, quality cells, so they're going to perform a lot better. At the same time, yes, you still can build packs on a level even better than those guys, but you should at least have batteries on those levels of quality and performance, you know. But like I said, man, I keep getting the same questions from guys, keep texting me saying, hey, you think I should get this controller and that controller? Once again, no, I think you should get a good fucking battery and then worry about what kind of controller or motor you're going to get. Not only that, whatever controller you currently have on your stock bike, if you don't believe what I'm saying, you don't even have to change any of that. You can keep the same controller, the same motor, and put a better battery in that bike. I guarantee you, just from putting a better battery in the bike, whatever's on there right now is going to perform a lot better just in changing the battery. The battery is like the heart of the bike, man. It's everything. If you got a bad heart, you ain't performing well. Same thing with your bike. If you got a cheap heart in your bike, which is the battery, don't expect to be running 10-mile marathons and doing it in record times. It just ain't gonna happen. All right, so I'm tired of saying the same shit. You know, go and buy whatever you gonna buy, but don't come to me asking me why this and why that, when I already told you a million goddamn times. So, you know, yeah, it gets a little frustrating over time, especially when people tell you, hey man, I think you're great, I think you're the shit, or I think you know your stuff, and then they ask you something and you tell them, and then they don't fucking listen. So what you asking me for if you ain't gonna fucking listen? You know, I don't get it. Stop having me waste my time. And not only that, you know, a lot of these guys, you know, even guys that I talk to on a regular basis, you know, I feel like a lot of times I get whole people trying to fake friend me because they think I'm gonna help them and tell them stuff, and which I am. I tell anybody. I even tell people I don't know. I give them tips and tell them, you know, the best I can tell them. Whether they listen or not, you know, I don't know. But I don't know, man. Like I say, even after all that, and I give them, I tell them this and I tell them that, and explain and break things down, I don't feel like they can do anything to help me in return. They don't even attempt to, for one. So there's that. But it is what it is. Now, I understand that everybody doesn't have the money to buy the best. So that's even more reason why you shouldn't keep buying shit that's a waste of money. Because believe me, if it is performance you're seeking, you're going to end up at some point getting the right shit, exactly like I told you. But that will only be after you done went through 2 and 3 bullshit batteries where you finally wise up and invest in a good one. So by that point, you have spent double or even triple when you could have bought the right thing the first time. Okay, so there's that. Then, all right, if money is an issue, that is another reason why we DIY. All right, so if you can't afford to buy the best, that is why you have these. Okay, you have these so you can do it yourself, you know. But at the same time, everybody still can't do things just themselves. Everybody just isn't built like that, you know. Everybody has different skill sets. So your skills might not be in building or putting things together or just mechanical stuff, period, you know. But at the end of the day, it's all about, as far as this as far as my YouTube channel goes and this PEV stuff goes, you know, your word is everything. Your word is everything. So when I tell you something, man, I'm telling you what I know. All right, stand by. I'm taking me a little ride. I gotta ride up to the vape shop. But I'm a prove to you that you know, my word is my bond. We're gonna do a little experiment. I'm gonna go up here to this vape shop, and I guarantee you, this man that don't even hardly know me, but he knows me from coming to buy vape shit, and I guarantee you he trusts me more than people that I talk to on a regular basis. Watch what I tell you. I don't think you guys actually trust what I'm telling you. I don't know why. One thing I ain't never been is a liar. When I say something, you can bet your ass on that shit. Put money on it. My word is my bone. I don't fuck around. But yeah, man, I tell y'all, man, the battery, man, is the most important thing, man. You can't have, you got a pack where when you throttle up, your voltage is sagging all the way down. You know, how you expect to go fast when your voltage is dropping? Crazy. What's up, man? You a new guy?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought my buddy was here. Alright. I'm in neutral, can't go nowhere. Alright guys, sorry about that. Yeah, of course I was trying to do my experiment. My guy that's normally there wasn't even there today. Got a new guy.
Watching your video now.
Guess I got a new subscriber there. Yeah, that dude right there, man. I was in the vape shop and I looked out there and somebody was looking at my bike. But I mean, he was like extra hard looking, and I left the damn keys on there, my bike on. So I had to go out there and see what the hell he was up to. But he just was curious. This bike get a lot of attention, especially now. I took all them stickers off. But yeah, fellas, battery is every fucking thing. Every fucking thing. And people, the first, you know, people don't want to invest in a good battery. First thing they want to do is, you know, try to find the cheapest pack they can find. You know, everybody looks for a high capacity pack. A high capacity pack, you know, at whatever voltage. That's all they care about. I'm gonna get a big high capacity pack so I can get long range. But don't take their time out to see what the discharge rate of that pack is, which is the most important thing. The discharge rate, because that's going to tell you what kind of cells are in the pack. You know, a quality pack is going to be able to output a lot of amps. You know, don't matter if you got a 100 amp hour pack. If it can only discharge 50 amps, it ain't worth a fuck. So it's not about just having, you know, a high discharge rate. I mean, a high capacity. You need amps. At the end of the day, you need amps. The more discharge amps a pack has, the better its holding capabilities are. And what I mean by holding, I mean if you running 200 amps as far as the voltage sag. If you got a pack that you got a 200 amp controller and you can throttle down full throttle, full power, pulling 200 DC line amps, and that voltage is solid, it stays right there, you have a high quality, high discharge rate pack. All right, if you got a pack that when you throttle down, your voltage is dipping from If full charge 84 volts all the way down to 70 volts, your pack can't handle the power that you're running. That's what that means. All right. Now the thing is, people tend to say, oh, that's normal, everybody shit does that, you know. Everybody, mine does that too. My bike drops down a lot of volts too. Yeah, everybody shit does that because everybody doesn't have a good pack, a high quality, high output pack, you know. Now, all packs are going to have voltage sag, some kind of voltage sag, but some are going to have a whole lot more than others. Some packs are going to be solid as far as voltage. Voltage will stay there nice and strong, except once the, you know, when the capacity starts falling, you know, when you done used up most of the battery, you know, when it's on a full charge, it might not sag that much, but when you get down to 40-50%, it's going to start sagging then, because it doesn't have the same amount of energy stored at that point. So of course you're going to get more voltage sag at that point. But I'm talking about when your pack is fully charged, when it's supposed to be full, and you getting 10 volts of sag, your pack definitely is not large enough as far as discharge to handle the power that you're running. All right, straight up simple facts. Now, a lot of guys on Surons, they have a voltage sag because a lot of them guys are running high power controllers, and a lot of them are running decent quality batteries. But the problem with Surons is you can only put about a 9P pack as far as how many cells are in parallel, 20S 9P, due to the limits of the battery compartment. They don't have large battery compartments, so at the end of the day you can't put but so big a pack on it. So it would have to be a quality pack with quality cells to get the best performance. They just can't, well, no, they ain't just come out, but ain't too many packs being built with P45Bs, which is some of the highest cells as far as discharge rate. They're very expensive, but if you have a pack built for your Suron with P45Bs, you'll have a whole lot less voltage sag. But guess what? That pack is going to cost a lot of money. You know, if you buy those cells stateside, P45Bs, depending on how many you buy, those cells cost anywhere from $8 to $11 each. Now, if you got a 12P pack, you know, you need 240 cells, okay? So just the cost in cells is going to be expensive. So, like I say, man, if you think you're going to go out here and buy a 72 volt, 40 amp hour pack, and it only costs you $1,000, you got $1,000 72 40 amp hour pack, and you think you're going to be going 80 miles an hour like me, it ain't happening, bro. Not gonna happen. You don't have the amps. You don't have the amps. And I told you guys, not only do you need the amps to run power, if you want to reach high top speeds, you're gonna need field weakening. Field weakening needs its own amps on top of your power amps. So if you got a controller that has 300 DC line amps that needs, when you max that controller out and you running 50% field weakening, you're going to need another 150 amps of DC line amps on top of that 300 amps. You need a battery that can output 450 amps. Ain't too many batteries outputting 450 amps, so you can't run that controller at maximum power. You know, that battery I got in there right now can output about 400 or 500 amps. That's not even my best pack, but you know, it's enough to run the power of that stock motor that's on there right now. And I'm running that at about maybe about 250 DC line amps with about 125 amps worth of field weakening. It's 375 amps, okay? So you ain't getting 375 amps out of $1,000. All right, sorry about that, guys. Unfortunately, my battery died out in the field. I think the last thing that I said was you're not gonna see any circuit breakers or connectors on my bike, okay? And the reason for that is, and this is the last time I'm gonna say this, okay? I understand a lot of you guys want to be safe with your batteries, and I totally get that. I respect that and I accept that. But know this, unfortunately, when it comes to performance and safety measures don't always align, okay? Guys like to put circuit breakers on their bikes because that makes connecting your battery, removing it in and out a lot easier, because sort of like an anti-spark device. You don't get that big pop when you connect and reconnect, you know, when you reconnect your battery. Honestly, that's the only reason for those circuit breakers. Using circuit breaker as a safety measure as far as it tripping to stop the current flow, if you think that's a safety measure, then what is your BMS for? Because that's supposed to do the same thing. So you don't need a circuit breaker to interrupt the current flow as a safety measure. Your BMS does that, and we're going to talk about the BMS too. Okay, as far as performance goes, running through a BMS on the discharge side is another aspect where safety measure does not align with performance. You're not going to get the maximum performance running through the discharge side. You're just not. Doesn't matter if that BMS can handle those amps. It's going to be a highly resistive circuit. It's going to be a lot of resistance running through that circuit board. So you're going to lose performance, okay? So you got to be willing to make those trade-offs if you want the best performance. If you don't want the best performance, then run through your BMS. Absolutely, okay? These are just the sacrifices some of us make when we want to be the fastest, all right? Race car guys, drag racing and all that, you think they worrying about safety measures? No, they're not. Only thing that matters to them is 0 to 60 times and quarter-mile times, okay? So they disregard a lot of safety measures because they want to go fast. For one thing, by just going fast, you're already disregarding safety because you want to go fast, all right? So I don't hear no shit about, oh, you want to be safe, so you got a BMS, but at the same time you want to do 100 miles an hour. Choose which lane you want to be in. You want to be in the safe lane or you want to be in the fast lane. You got to make a choice. It's that simple, all right? That fucking simple, all right? Like I say, you stay safe, run through your BMS, that's fine. You got a family protect. If you think that's going to protect your family, then that's what you do, you know? There's other things you could do to protect your family as well, as far as worrying about the discharge side. The discharge side is not what's going to protect your family. It's the charge side when you're charging your bike at home. Discharge side is only going to save your bike out in the field if you're pulling too many amps through a cheap battery, and your BMS should cut that off. But if you don't have a cheap battery, you got a high performance, high output battery, then that you shouldn't be worrying about that too much, all right? But anyway, that's it for today. You know, shit, like I say, tired of saying the same things over and over, guys, you know. And You know, I got one buddy now. I am talking about him. He knows who he is. And he's trying to do a certain speed at a certain voltage, and I keep telling him that ain't happening, especially with stock batteries, and especially with stock batteries. Okay, he wants to do 60 miles an hour on 60 volts. Not that you can't do 60 miles an hour on 60 volts, but you're going to need a custom high output 60 volt battery. You're going to need a top of the line high output controller with really good field weakening, and even some extra field weakening. What I mean by that is you know, some people have different software access to add even extra field weakening on top of it being good field weakening. 60 miles per hour on 60 volts is just a bridge too far for a stock battery and a small controller. Just ain't gonna get there. All right, to do 60 miles an hour, you at least need to be on 72 volts with at least 150 amps and some field weakening, and you know, you're doing 60-65. Okay, but getting above those speeds, you're going to need a whole lot more amps. The amps that you run in, you're going to need that same amount of amps just in field weakening alone. So it is what it is. But you know, I understand, like I say, that particular buddy, he don't want to invest that type of money, but at the same time, he's going to have to, if that's the speed he wants. Otherwise, he's going to have to just be satisfied with having transportation. All right, because speed costs. All right, I'm done. Peace.